executive. Baseball bridges a lot of gaps. And this is something I learned when I was fortunate enough to cover the Red Sox for the 15-year period I did. You literally have guys from all corners of the earth. Dominican Republic, and in fact, this Red Sox team is a great example of that. Go right around the diamond. You have African Americans on the team. The catchers from Puerto Rico. The second baseman and first baseman are American. The shortstop's a Cuban. The third baseman is Venezuelan. On many teams, you have relief pitchers from Asia. This Red Sox team really is a melting pot, a true melting pot, and you throw all these guys in a room together, and the one common bond they have is baseball. So I think there is a similar dynamic here. Again, you all have your lives, you all have your jobs, and yet on a night like tonight, you come together because the game is really what interests you, and certainly Tufts too. In this case, these sort of marriage of the two. But our two participants on the panel tonight, Jeff Taglianti, class of '97, drafted in the 7th round by the Red Sox. Dan Duquette was the general manager at that time. I was reading up on his bio earlier tonight, and I knew Jeff had been dealt. He was dealt to Colorado, and I looked it up. It was Jeff, John Wasden, Jeff Fry, Brian Rose to Colorado for Rolando Araujo, Mike Lansing, and a reliever named Terry Croshaw, I think, or something like that. And it occurred to me as I went through it that Jeff was the best player in the deal. Of course, we would have said that here regardless. So, I know Jeff was here last year, so Jeff Taglianti, if we could just give him a nice round of applause. Sam Kennedy, as I mentioned, is the president of the Red Sox, succeeded Larry Lucchino as Red Sox president. And so I just want to tell this story quickly. I don't want to bore you all night, but when the new owners of the Red Sox took over the team officially in 2002, John Henry, Tom Werner, Larry Lucchino, Larry met with members of various media outlets in town, I think really to just gauge the landscape of the Boston media. And so he met with the publisher and owner of the Boston Herald, a guy named Pat Purcell. And I remember running into Pat Purcell in the building because at the time I was working at the Herald. And I said, well, how did the lunch with Larry go? And he said, great, until I brought up your name. He said, then he looked like he wanted to stab me in the neck with his fork. So I'm very thrilled to now that Sam is president of the Red Sox and I don't have to worry about this sort of stuff anymore. I have great, tremendous respect for Larry, despite what you may hear. But I know they're in good hands now with Sam, who is a Boston native, grew up in Brookline. And again, our thanks to Sam for being here tonight. We should mention, too, that Sam is a NESCAT guy. Sam went to Trinity. Couldn't get him to Tufts. We didn't want him. So if anyone has any specific questions, certainly throw your hand up. I was going to suggest that we pass the mic around, but a good number of you probably have the voices to reach us anyway, if I know you well enough. So, but I'll start, why don't we start with Sam, and I'll ask what I think is probably the most obvious question, which is your outlook for the 2017 Red Sox season and really the next couple of years, given the nucleus that the team has.
Sure. Before I talk about boring things like the 2017 Red Sox, let me just make a few comments and preliminary remarks. We had a Trinity alumni baseball event down in Suite R10 1 week ago tonight. And there was about 1/3 of the number of people as there are here tonight. And the other thing I would notice is Tufts is far more progressive. There are far more women here tonight. It was all male, so congratulations to Tufts baseball for having a much more balanced approach. I was fortunate enough, I went to Brookline High School right down the street, class of 1991. Coach Bill Decker, who had just taken over the Trinity baseball team, got 6 or 7 phone calls from me asking him if I could play on his baseball team. And because I bothered him so much, he put me on the team my freshman year. I sat on the end of the bench. I got into 1 or 2 games. I got to go on the trip to Florida. I thought I'd made the major leagues at that point. But by the end of the season, I realized I wasn't getting into too many games. So I went to him at the end of the season. I said, Coach, what do you think? I get this opportunity. I can go study abroad next spring. He said, Sam, that's a really good idea. So, if anything, I want you to know that I have self-awareness about the lack of my baseball skills, but it's great to see. We've got Tom Howard, who I want to recognize, if he can stand up, Tufts baseball class of 2013. Howard is a rising star in the Red Sox and Fenway Sports Management front office. It's great to see him. Even though he's a Tufts guy. As it relates to the Red Sox outlook, I mean, look, all you got to do is turn on 98.5, the Sports Hub, now owned by Entercom Communications, by the way. The deal's not official yet, is it? Hopefully it won't be. The Justice Department is going to intervene on behalf of Felger and Maz. I don't think so. The outlook is good. It's good. You know, We've had a commitment here since 2002. Some years we've done better than others of investing heavily at all areas of our baseball operation. And really my job is to make sure that we have the ability to invest in three things: the baseball operation, the ballpark itself, tried to preserve, protect, and enhance Fenway Park in our 15 years here, and then the community. And really we focus on those three things each and every day. But as it relates to the 2017 Red Sox, everyone knows we've gone a little bit all in on this season and hopefully next season and the season after that. We had a great year in 2016, a bounce-back year where we qualified for postseason play. It was a great year. It just ended too soon. Obviously, we're very excited about the rotation that we're going to run out there. We're hoping that we continue to have one of the best offenses in baseball. Don't ask me how we're going to replace David Ortiz, because the answer is we're not. Cannot replace him. But we really are excited. I just got back from camp. There's a great vibe down there. And if there's one word that pops into my mind, it's health. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but if we can stay healthy, I think we'll be right back in the mix in the American League East. Thanks.
I'll throw in a Jeff here quickly, and then again, if anyone has any specific thoughts, by all means, fire away. But my question to Jeff, and he and I have never really talked a lot about this. I was covering the Red Sox when I heard they drafted a kid from Tufts, and I went, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Now I have a mole in the organization. So it didn't quite work out that way. But needless to say, for a Division III player to be drafted at all is an achievement unto itself, let alone one that ended up having an extremely successful minor league career. I think your ERA was 3.35 or something like that. I know there was at least a year or two in there where it had a sub-2 ERA. I mean, the question I would want to ask out of the gate is, what was minor league baseball like? Did it live up to the hype? You hear the stories about the bus rides and the demand and the low money and the cheap food and all of that, and was it worth it?
Good question. I just wanted to start off by thanking everyone for coming. I think this is great. Just a couple remarks before I address that question. I know I had sent a text message to Coach Casey. I don't know where he's sent a text message to Coach Casey. This year, I guess, is my 20-year reunion coming up this summer. And I said, look, when I was playing baseball and I was in the Red Sox organization with the Reds, it was a little easier to stay involved with helping to recruit and stay involved with the Tufts baseball program. And once I got done with that, I got married and started having kids. It gets a little harder. But I think, I sent him a text message and I said, how can I be helpful this year? I'm going to think about it. So it was kind of funny. So I started joking with my wife and I said, well, maybe I can go pitch in the alumni games. We can really shut the team down when we win this game. She's like, that's a terrible idea. You're going to have another shoulder surgery. So I said, well, maybe what we can do is I'll train and I'll go through the swimming test with the pitchers. And she said, no, that's a terrible idea. Your 9-year-old daughter just beat you in a swimming race in our community pool. And then I said, well, maybe I'll go run the mile. I think it's still 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Well, she got it on the stopwatch. It was like 9 minutes and 15 seconds. I said, I'm not going to be able to bridge that gap in the next 2 months. So I said, how about I can come talk to the team? He goes, I have an even better idea. You can come talk to, the 100+ people at this event. It's perfect. But no, really do thank everyone for coming. I think, in terms of minor league lifestyle, so I think, the first year or two, I think it was great. I think it's very nice to first get drafted and have a lot of momentum and had some success as a closer and put some good numbers on the board. I think, then I had an elbow surgery, had to come back from that. Then, got traded, have to kind of adjust to that. Two new organizations, and then shoulder surgery. So I'd say, the first couple of years were exciting. By the time I got towards the tail end of it, it was a little more challenging. Felt a little bit more like a job. I was 6 years into it. But nonetheless, you never lose the love of the game. I think that, I've always stayed close to it. I, very quickly thought about what my next career move was going to be. Ultimately ended up going back to business school and got into investment banking, which I'm still doing 10 or 11 years later now. But interestingly enough, got a call after my shoulder surgery. I kind of told everybody I was done playing and I was going to rehab and then I was going to retire. Got a call, and I don't know if it was Sherrington or one of his guys, and they basically said, "Hey, listen, we've got this right around the 2003 time frame when I think Theo had first started with the Red Sox, and Sherrington was one of his, he was like a minor league coordinator or something, farm director." He said, one of those guys gave me a call, and they said, "Hey, we're building this thing, we've got a lot of momentum, we think you'd be great, you're a player, good school, pedigree we're looking for." And they said, "Look, we got a perfect job for you, assistant to the assistant minor league director." And I said, if you guys think that I'm going to come and be the one that's going to go in and just do everybody's dirty work and have all these, I'm the one that has to go in and tell guys that they're released or traded or all these things. I said, I just went through that for 6 years, you're crazy. I appreciate it, but I'm going to go a different direction for a short period of time, maybe I'll come back to it. But nonetheless, I don't think it was maybe about a year and a half later, flip on the TV, the Red Sox win the World Series, everyone in the organization's getting a World Series ring, would have included me, but whatever. So it was a great time, and look, the minor leagues was wonderful. A lot of skills that transfer into the real world, in no matter what career that you want to pursue in the future.
Can I just say that as someone who's worked in baseball since 1993, it's all I've ever done. You made the right decision to go into investment banking. So congratulations. The reason you did that is because those of us that work in the front office couldn't do what you did at Tufts. None of us were getting drafted, I can tell you that much. And so you made the right decision for you and your family. Trust me, you can talk to my wife about that.
I was faced with a similar decision in my career. I had to retire when I was a sophomore in college. Does anybody have... yep, fire away. Russ, go ahead. I can hear you from here. If not, I'll come over.
Okay, so listen, I think all of us are purists about baseball. We love the game. A lot of changes that are sort of floating around with respect to extra innings, putting somebody on second base, attention of ball 4. I'd love the perspective of the front office and as a player, what you guys think of those changes.
So, for those of you who may not have been able to hear in that part of the room, the question concerned the changes in Major League Baseball regarding pace of play primarily. So let's start with Sam.
Well, look, it's a great question because I think this will spark some different opinions and probably fierce debate. I'm all for rule changes. I think if we don't adapt to a new world, we're going to be in trouble. I've got a lot of friends who work in the NFL. They make rule changes at every single meeting. 6 times a year, they make changes to improve the product on the field. We live in a new world, and we have, I've got a 13-year-old and a 12-year-old that don't consume television. Sorry, Matt, they don't listen to talk radio either. But If we're not here, if we're not streaming games live to mobile devices everywhere in the world, we're dead. So we need to make sure that we preserve what's great about baseball. But I think Rob Manfred and his group are smart to look at making changes, whether it's picking up the pace of play, whether it's looking at things you can do in extra innings, whether it's looking at what you can do with an intentional walk. Look, baseball's never going to have a clock on it, ever. It just won't. It's not going to end. But you have to be open-minded to changes. We live in a time where baseball's demographic is changing. We have to connect to kids and that next generation of fans, or we could be in trouble. Sports and the American landscape change. What's happened to boxing? What's happened to horse racing? Sports go away and die if they're not tended to. You need to take care of these sports and make sure that we're doing everything we can to improve the product on the field. And that's hard. And it's really hard with a sport like baseball that has statistics and time-honored traditions. So I salute the commissioner's office for looking at changes. I've got strong opinions about certain ideas that they have that I don't like and certain ideas that they have that I do like. But I think it's smart to look at it. The problem that we're seeing right now is the issue between the Players Association and Major League Baseball. There's clearly disagreement. So let's get a player's perspective on some of this.
That's all really good insight. I think, as you know, I played in the Arizona Fall League for 2 seasons in a row. It's basically a league that happens for prospects after the regular season, and they test a lot of rule changes, or at least when I was playing in that league, they test a lot of rule changes, and some of them are, when I was there, they were still concerned about the speed of the game. This was 10 or 15 years ago, and they were test out rules where the player couldn't take their foot out of the box, or the pitchers had to pitch within the next pitch within 10 seconds or 15 seconds, or the umpire would just start calling ball. And that's a little bit frustrating from a player perspective. So some of the changes are maybe not as palatable as others. I do think, though, as I look back from my perspective, there has been a lot of changes to the game over the years. I mean, think about the years that I played, 97 to 2003. I don't have to mention what era that was of the game, and it was the height of it during that period of time. And there's been a lot of rule changes that they had to put in place to address that, and some of those were tough decisions with the players' union as well. But personally, I believe that ultimately benefited the game and brought it in line with the other pro sports leagues. So, from my perspective, I think it's challenging, but some rules are better than others, and ultimately, I think the two sides just have to come together.
It's interesting. We talk a lot about pace of game and length of game. And what I was always taught as a very bad player, as a public high school player at Brookline High School, that's right, I think at Walpole High, there you go. What are we taught to do as baseball players? Slow down, take a deep breath, step out of the box, look the guy over, work the count, go late in the count, get this guy to throw a lot of pitches. That runs completely counter to the desire to pick up the pace of game. So I don't think it's the game. I think it's the dead time during games that fans object to. It's the incessant pitching changes. It's the time guys stepping out of the box, just waiting around. That's, I think, what they're focused on. But it's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out, because as professional athletes, these guys are affirmatively coached and taught to slow things down, calm down, deep breath, be in the moment, and don't race and try and hurry up. That's when you get bad moments.
I'll spare you my opinion, because you can get that from 2 to 6. These guys aren't going to be around. But, generally, let's go. Come on, let's go. I got to take the dog out for a walk. Let's go. I want to see the end of the game. Yes?
New question. What can the league do to create new rivalries, as some of the more traditional rivalries aren't as strong because one team or the other isn't necessarily where they used to be, like Red Sox, Yankees. There's quite the focus now on interleague play. If it was Sox, Cubs, I think that would be of prime interest to everyone. Maybe not
So the question again, for those of you that couldn't hear, concerned rivalries in baseball, what the game can do to sort of improve and increase and grow rivalries. I actually think this is an important part of the game. The hatred that exists is a good thing, right? And I mean that because it raises the intensity level of the game. So let's actually start with Jeff here. Did you find when you played that the teams you saw more frequently, you had a little more disdain for lack of a better word?
Yeah, I think that's right, and you run into a lot of the same players over time as well. So there's kind of an embedded rivalry there. What's interesting from a player perspective is some of these rivalries that you see at the major league level, for instance, the Red Sox and the Yankees rivalry, they absolutely ingrain that in your mind all the way down the system. We used to play the Yankees, and I can remember there would just be in the minor leagues, even at the AA level, and our manager would just come in and say, "This is the Yankees. If you can't get up for this series, I don't know." So they would get fired up. So the rivalries absolutely kind of flow through the system, and I think you definitely see that for sure. In terms of to directly answer the question, what can they do to drive potentially new rivalries like the Red Sox and the Cubs? That to me probably is more of a macro question in terms of scheduling issues and how you deal with that. I mean, that's probably not my area of expertise.
Yeah, look, rivalries come out of years and years of consistent play against each other. I mean, I hate Newton North. If anyone here is from Newton, just get out. I mean, we don't like you if you go to Newton North. Hockey, baseball, football, whatever it is, especially hockey. But it's really they go in cycles because when Theo was rebuilding 2010, 11, 12, we played the Cubs in the early play 2012. Everyone knows what was going on around our place 2012. I wouldn't say that was a big rivalry matchup. It was cool that the Red Sox and the Cubs were playing each other. Well, this year I can tell you the interest and the demand and the requests and the planning that's gone on the national scene with the networks around Red Sox Cubs is at a fever pitch. I actually think the Red Sox-Yankees is probably going to be back, maybe not where it was 03, 04, but I actually think given what the Yankees have done with their minor league system, some of the young stars we have, that might come back around. So I actually think the best thing that clubs in Major League Baseball can do is have the clubs perform at a high level, and that's what creates the interest. Although it is hard, I think we should look at maybe a radical realignment, a geographical realignment of clubs to create more regional rivalries. Just as Rob Manfred is looking at pace of play issues, I think we should look at some realignment issues. I mean, the fact that we're going to play 20 interleague games this year, there's interleague play going on all the time, traveling to St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, wherever. I'm not sure that serves the interest of creating those rivalries. But I do think geographical realignment may help with quality of life issues for the players and travel, and maybe will help those rivalries as well. So we'll see, but I think it does go in cycles. When teams are underperforming, you lose a little bit of that hatred.
Thank you.
I'll just add quickly that I think unbalanced play, more games in the division is always a good thing. I don't ever want to see baseball get away from that. Because again, you see Tampa 6 series a year. It doesn't have to be the Yankees. When Tampa was good there, they played with an edge and there was some real passion in those games. I use the word disdain or hatred, but it's really about the passion. Because when the intensity gets up, the games get better. They're better to watch, they're better to be at, and they're better to play. So to me, I'm a big believer in divisional play. I'm going to hijack for a couple of seconds here because I have a couple more questions for you two that I think are worth touching on. You just mentioned Theo in passing, Theo Epstein, and for those of you who don't know, Sam and Theo went to high school together, are lifelong friends, and Theo's regarded as this prodigy in baseball management. And from a young age, he was kind of cultivated to be this great executive. I got news for you. Sam was the same thing on the business side. So baseball's like church and state. There's the business side, there's the baseball side. Theo was on the baseball side, Sam was on the business side. So my question is, when they won, were you happy for them? Did you reach out for them? I mean, you guys made the playoffs. You won 93 games. You get swept. Francona's going against Theo. Like, how did you sort of reconcile that whole thing?
Yeah, well, I can talk about Theo for a long time. We don't have that much time. But no, of course I was rooting for him. I was rooting as a baseball fan. I was rooting for the Cubs. But I was torn because I had this sort of fantasy that it was going to be Red Sox Cubs playing in the World Series against Theo with our chance to sort of break their hearts again and have it keep going. And that's my admission. That was selfish. When Rajat Davis hit that home run, I thought for sure it was going to happen. I thought for sure the Indians were winning that game. It was going to be a dagger in the heart of Cub fans everywhere. And then possibly 2017 would be the Cubs' 2004. But to their credit, to Theo's credit, to Jed Hoyer's credit, to Jason McLeod's credit, to Jared Porter, everyone in that front office, they got it done, and it really is amazing. And what's more amazing is I don't think the baseball landscape, members of the media, were actually that surprised that the Cubs won the World Series. Because I think there was this feeling that with Theo going there, they would get it done, which is amazing to me. But if you think about it, there really was as well. He did it in Boston in 2004. He can do it with the Cubs. And the reason, I could just go back to Brookline High School when we were playing Walpole. Theo was the guy coaching third base, never getting into any games, keeping score, calculating on-base percentage. This is all true, by the way. I'm not making any of it up. You knew this kid was headed for something other than playing baseball on the field. But he had a photographic memory. He comes from an amazing family. His dad, Leslie, is a professor of creative writing over at Boston University. His brother, Paul, is a guidance counselor at our high school, Brookline High. His sister, Anya Epstein, is a Hollywood screenwriter. She's had a ton of success. It's an amazing, amazing family. And he and I both shared a passion at Brookline High for trying to work in baseball. We both would write letters to the Red Sox. We'd try to get internships here. We'd try to do whatever we could. I worked at the D'Angelo store across the street. He ended up getting an internship with Larry Lucchino with the Baltimore Orioles, and I ended up getting an internship with the New York Yankees, and we were fortunate to reconnect at the end of 1995. And Larry Lucchino, despite what Maz may say about him, he actually really likes Maz. Larry likes people who aren't afraid to pick a fight and challenge him, call them out. Larry hired both of us, and I can't tell you, there's probably literally 150 plus people in Major League Baseball that owe their careers to Larry Lucchino. Whether you love him, whether you hate him, you're never going to get anyone that I know who truly knows Larry to say a bad word about him. This guy got so many of our careers started, and we're very grateful to him. And it was great to see Theo win a World Series. I just want to know what's next. He needs drama, as you know. So let's see what the next move is for Theo Epstein. Maybe he'll stay there and win 3 or 4, but something tells me he'll be on to bigger and better things at some point.
I want to squeeze in one more for Jeff before Coach Casey's already given me the evil eye back there because we're running late. He started spitting tobacco at me any second. My question for Jeff, and it's an obvious one, and again, I don't think I've ever asked you this, but who's the best player you faced? Who was the best player you faced in the minor leagues, and more importantly to me, why?
Really good question. 142 games a year for 6 years, probably 12 different teams. There were so many great players. Trying to think back to some of the best players that we faced. I'm going to turn the question a little bit. I'll tell you that a really good friend of mine to this day, probably a couple of really good friends of mine to this day, Dave Eckstein and Adam Everett, both were drafted. David was drafted with me. Adam Everett was drafted the year after me by the Red Sox. I'll tell you, they're two great players, obviously had long careers. David won a couple World Series, a couple different teams. those are probably the best two players with the Red Sox organization that I played with. Adam Dunn was probably the best player I played with in the Reds organization, but really an amazing experience. And the thing is, it's kind of like a brotherhood. Stay close to so many of these guys, even to this day. So it's great.
For those of you who don't remember, I think Eckstein won 2 World Series, right? One with the Angels in 2002, 2006 with the Cardinals. That's right. Adam Everett was traded for Carl Everett. In terms of sanity, that was a big loss for the Red Sox, that deal. No offense, Sam. But, yeah, I honestly, I don't want to keep these guys here all night, and I know that Sam does have a commitment, and we have a million other things to get to. So if you could just express your thanks, please, to both of them.
On behalf of the panel, let us thank Tony Maz, because he's one of the guys in the media that you just absolutely love and respect. You might not always agree with what he's saying, but I can tell you, when he was a beat guy, nobody worked harder. Nobody is more passionate about baseball than Tony in the media, and we do appreciate it, even though he may beat up on us from time to time, but that's what he gets paid the really big bucks to do. So thanks, Tony, to you for being here.
We're going to Sam a Tufts baseball shirt. It's the closest he ever got to getting into university. Thanks to Jeff, too. Okay, so we're ready to commence the Tufts baseball part of the program. And now that Sam is gone, if I could just share with you quickly, now that he's not here, I can speak well of him. This job, my job, can leave you conflicted frequently. And so, talk radio is about making noise, in case you haven't figured that out. Growing up in an Italian household, that came naturally to me in many ways. But there are certain people that when the topic turns to them, you always feel some level of guilt or regret for or toward, because they are genuinely good, kind, nice people. Sam's one of those. I can't say that enough. He's a genuinely good guy. And we disagree all the time about sort of the plight of the Red Sox, the fate of the Red Sox, what have you. But at his core, he's a really good person, which at the end of the day is really all I care about. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. And get the guilt off my chest, too, for the next time I say something bad about the Red Sox. Again, this is the second year I've been involved in this event. Last year I spent the large majority of time ripping on Coach Casey, which honestly is like shooting fish in a barrel. It's just way too easy. So I decided I was going to stay away from that a little bit this year, unless the opportunity just presents itself that I can't resist. I wanted to share one story with you quickly from my days covering the Red Sox that people always seem to get a little chuckle out of it. It's a short, quick story. I'll make it fast. But Pedro Martinez, when he played for the Red Sox, to me was the absolute single greatest thing ever. He was a reporter's dream. He was a fan's dream. Teammates liked him. There were a lot of pluses there. Pedro wasn't perfect. He was extremely temperamental at times, and when his career in Boston ended, it was time to go. But he did come back as a member of the New York Mets in 2005. And the Boston press corps consists of a wide range of people, but always the first question at the press conference at any press conference is typically asked by John Miller of WBZ Radio. For those of you who don't know, John has a speech impediment. He has cerebral palsy, so maybe you've sometimes heard the audio on the radio. Someone has kind of a funny voice, that's Johnny. For those of you who follow politics, if you remember years ago, there was a White House correspondent named Helen Thomas who would always ask the first question. Johnny is our Helen Thomas, okay? And when Pedro came back as a member of the Mets, he pitched here at Fenway Park. He held a press conference after the game just outside the visiting clubhouse here at Fenway Park. And a number of people sort of collected or congregated around Pedro, and nobody asked a question. And Pedro sort of looked around and saw the usual faces, myself, Dan Shaughnessy, Sean McAdam, blah, blah, blah. And finally, someone jumped up and started asking a question, and Pedro said, well, hold on. Where's Johnny Miller? And someone said, well, Johnny's not here, he's sick. Pedro immediately looked at Shaughnessy and said, how come you never get sick? So Shaughnessy himself got a good chuckle out of that. I thought you would too. In any case, without further ado, the baseball coach at Tufts University, John King.
Thank you, Tony. I sort of wanted to end this thing right away because when Sam told me that I was progressive, that's the first time I've ever talked progressive in my life. Let's go out on a high note. It didn't quite work. We're trying a little bit different, so we're going to try to get through this whole program right now. With our speaking, you're going to hear from the captains, myself a little bit, but what I want to do is I want to thank Megan McKenzie and Wade of the Red Sox and Aramark for making things so easy to work here. It is just a pleasure to do this. I want to thank Gina, Amanda, Megan, and Mark at Tufts for all their help. It's been a great thing for our program to do this stuff. And finally, I want to thank our host for this evening, who we can't do this without, Jay Callahan, Mike Cantalouper, Dana Nielsen, and Sean Barrett, because without their help, we couldn't have this evening. So thank you very much. I do want to start the evening with something rather special. A wonderful friend of Tufts baseball and Tufts athletics is moving on to start a new chapter in her life. I'd be remiss if we didn't take a moment to recognize for all she's done for Tufts athletics. Bramlett Smith King, for over 30 years, has truly been the heart of our department. Before it was widespread, Bran understood the significance of giving back to the community. She set a caring tone for our department every day, always working to find ways to get our families involved, and most importantly, always making sure that the welfare of our student athletes was at the forefront. It's with great happiness for Bran that she's moving on, but it's a true sense of loss for our department. We wish Bran all the happiness in the world as she returns to her native Bermuda to begin a new chapter in her life. We're waiting for her to build the first baseball field so we can go down there and play a 15-game series. Okay? But at this point, I'd just like to present Fran with, every year we give out a special award, which is a bat that says to a true jumbo. And so we'd like to present this to Fran because there's no true jumbo than you, my friend. Thank you. The worst part about Maserati was I came on with all this stuff, figured he was going to fire around too at me. So we'll save that for next year. But you know, the one thing that I want everyone to know is I did a lot of research, and if you don't realize it, it's no coincidence that shows on Comcast Sports Net, is that what you want, right? Both viewers told me. But anyway, that viewership doubles to 4 when Tony wears his Tufts baseball gear. They always get their highest rating in that moment. So I just want to thank Tony because, you know, Tony's, he makes the night, if you ask me. You know, just his personality and the professionalism he brings to us, we cannot be happier that Tony's a willing participant in this. Okay? So thanks. job is to give you a quick preview of our 2017 season. As y'all know, I really love doing this. You know, there was no way standing here last year that I would predict that we would have had setting a program record for wins and being the last New England team standing in the NCAAs. I do want to recognize Cody McCall because he was one of the greatest captains I've ever been around in 34 years of coaching, and I really believe, you know, that he made the difference in that season. So, Cody, thanks, man. Stand up. I always try to work this word in, so please pay attention. So I also want to harken back. Love this, okay? To last year when I talked about, you know, Joe Ferrara and Kevin Galasso being our inspirations. You know, well, the best part of this is Kev's pitching for us now. Okay, so it's been awesome. We're like 20 days away from getting where we need to be, which is getting him back on the mound, competing in the game. And that's stuff. And he is an inspiration to us. Okay, and I mean that. And so is Lisa and RJ, man. We show up to practice, and that stuff matters. And I want to let you know that. That's the most important stuff. Baseball's fun to play. Okay, it's fun. Our guys love to compete. It's fun. But to be part of this and to have just some type of small helping hand in it, or just be there to support guys, that's the most important thing to teach our guys. So we're so pumped. Kevin's an inspiration every day. I'm just so, every day he gets out there, man, it just, there's no way I can have a bad day or a bad practice. It's awesome. And you know he's back to full health because Kev's already, excuse my French, bitching that mom brings too much food on her visits. So we've come right back to where we started from. So it's awesome stuff. The other thing I want to mention about going through the season is, we had a good year. Okay? But one of these things are, what makes us a successful program, honestly, is the fact that of our, 36 guys, 12 are big brothers. They take the time to work in the community and give back, okay? We had our 100-inning game, and we raised over $2,000 for homes for our troops, which they built troops for veterans of the Iraqi war and the Afghanistan war, and literally 99% of your money goes to helping those people. So we're having a real effect, and our guys do that with just great energy, okay? They understand the importance of doing those things. In terms of this year, I've always said this, coaches guide, players play. And that's what it is. We win because we have good players. I believe we win every day because our guys are great in the classroom, they're great in the community, and they're good on the baseball field. And that's the most important part of this. All we do is we control what we can control, okay, which is how we go about things every day. Our first game's 20 days from now, all right? All I know is we're going to show up to compete really hard. That part I'll guarantee you. Our standards are never giving an inch, compete, and making sure we live up to the standards that were left for us by everyone who came before us. And that's the most important part. I just want to give you a quick side note. I had the great privilege of being the president of the American Baseball Coaches Association and moved up the ranks and been around the country and tons of things. And one of the things is you just talk to a lot of people, meet a lot of people. And half the time in those moments, I'm listening to people, tell me about their programs, their this, and I'm dumbfounded because I'm sitting there going, I must be the luckiest coach in America because our guys compete, they don't whine, we have great support, our parents don't talk to me for 4 years, thank you for that. It is awesome stuff. I'm telling you, you just don't find that in all these stories across the country. And I think that is as much a factor in our success as anything else. So I just want to thank you for that. I think that I've got the greatest job in the world because my players continue to teach and challenge me to be a better person. And so how can you do better than that? So before I go, I got to do this to make up for past sins, I want to acknowledge my lovely wife of over 30 years. We actually now are experiencing our first months of empty nest, whatever you call that. So feel free to stop by and condolences to her. But, you know, seriously, you got to throw some at me because some of the TV shows she's making me watch are brutal. I mean, I'm just sitting there just staring blankly at the screen. She's telling me what a wonderful show it is. There's no bones falling off. No one's been shot. Wonderful watching. So, last thing I want to do is I want to thank my assistant coaches, who, without question, the best not only in this league, but I think in the country. They work their butts off, they care about the guys more than they ever know, and they're all great baseball men. I do want to relay one last quick story, and the fact that, you know, I'm sure some of you know I had a disagreement with an umpire, which rarely happens, in our last regional game. Okay? And there's video of this. He threw me out as I was walking away. Okay? So the home plate umpire was a great guy who said, Case, go get your money's worth. I'm going to walk all the way to the plate, clean off, and walk all the way back before I break you up. So anyway, so I leave. And I turn around, and I'm walking to the dugout to grab my briefcase because this is what you learn after 34 years of coaching. Get the van key so you can sit in the van in case it rains. And I stand in the parking lot along with you. Okay? So I went to as I'm going in there, I have top staff in America, which I just called you, decide who's the head coach, who's going to do this. Okay? Clarky goes, I'm the head coach. Okay? Then proceeds to go, C-Mac, you go to first, Brendan, you go to third, Bobby Kenny, you call the pitches, I'm going to sit down. Then wound up sitting on his ass for the next 3 innings. And I'm realizing, man, I'm stuffing all of this year. Okay? Last thing I want to tell you is 2 innings later, okay, Connor got a little excited during that game. Okay, I don't know where those genes come from, Tom. Okay? And so Connor gets tossed. Okay, by NCAA rules, Connor's suspended for next game, which is next year. Okay, for this coming year. So what I've done in the interest of helping the program is I've decided not to pay Connor from that last game. First game, so you can slip Connor a couple of bucks on the way out. Right? But I want to thank you all for coming. This is a great evening for us. I'm convinced, you know, things are done for a reason. There's always things done for a reason. And when we finally got around to doing this year, we wound up setting the program record for wins, so that's what we'll plan to do this year as well. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
What was that line? Coaches guide, players play? I remember you saying that when I was there. Read it on a fortune cookie, wouldn't you? To Mrs. Casey, I would say, now that the nest is empty, we can run diversion. We can get you out of town very easily. No problem there. I want to mention quickly, as I did not know that Brandon was leaving. She may not remember this, but you know, back when I was at Tufts, I wrote for the Daily. I treated it like it was the New York Times. And I think I actually had her for a phys ed class at one point. She was way ahead of her time because she knew I was a pain in the ass back then. So best of luck to you. Best of luck. The captains of this year's Tufts baseball team, and I hope to the high heavens that I don't totally butcher these names. Even the first one, Harry Brown. Spiros Varinos, did I get that right? Varinos. Spiros Varinos and Tim Saperco, did I get that one right? Saperco. Please come on up, please.
first just like to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is an unbelievable night. My name is Tim Spurk, and I'm a senior pitcher, and we'd like to take this time to thank everybody for your support and encouragement for the team. To the alumni, thank you for all your donations, words of encouragement, networking opportunities, and overall outstanding support you've shown us over the years. Parents and families, your efforts and care make playing this game that much more special. Our goal this year, as is every year, is to make all of you proud to be a part of Tufts baseball and to prove how hard work and grit leads to success on and off the field. Thank you for your kindness.
So I'm Spiros Marinos. Tim and I took voice and speech this semester, so but he went through all the thank yous, but I just want to say thank you again to all the alumni who are here today. And I want to specifically say thank you for the tradition and culture you've set up in this program. I know I speak for everyone in this room that we take great pride in what Tufts baseball is. And I know I speak for us three and all of the upperclassmen when we say that we're going to do our part to make sure that everyone lives by those standards that have been set before us by all of you. So to show that we've been really appreciative of all you guys, this past week we had a meeting about core values, what Tufts baseball is all about. So in the past we've always done a team word. So this year we did a little bit more than that. It's a nice little logo that I don't have with me right now. But the team word this year is believe, because if we're going to do anything special this year, you have to believe. You have to believe in the process and believe in what we're doing. And there's a nice little acrostic poem going with it. But our core values are, first off, is energy. You have to show up every day with energy, whether it's chasing after foul balls or just every day at practice. The next is selfless. It's standing in the box when a pitch is coming at you. It's sticking your nose in front of a ground ball. It's the sacrifices you make on and off the field. And then finally, it's perseverance. And we all know how important that is to this program with what Adrian taught all of us. So we just want to persevere every day. And then that surrounded all of that by Bill Belichick's no days off. Coach Kenny suggested that one. So it's no days off from all of that stuff. We have to show up every day and make sure we're doing all that stuff. So we want to just tell you all that we're going to make sure that we live by those standards that you set before us. So thank you for that.
I'm Harry, and just a little bit of an outlook from our perspective on the season this year coming up. So it kind of starts from last year, what we have to learn from last year, and obviously Coach said, like sitting here a year ago, I don't know if we would have been able to pick that either, but there's a lot to learn from it. So we have a lot of guys coming back with a lot of late season experience, which we know nothing help us, but as Coach Casey always mentions, you're only as good as your last performance. So we definitely have some things that we're going to work on, and anyone from the team last year can heard this over and over again. We had great attitude and effort last year, but we were not the best baseball players sometimes. So we're definitely going to continue the attitude and effort that we had last season. Won us a lot of games, and then kind of building off of working as being better baseball players. We had challenge board stuff set up in the fall. Everyone had their own things that they wanted to work on, and we really took an attitude of just really actively trying to get better as baseball players this fall. And the pace of play was good. Kind of where we're at now, had a great round of testing. Everyone passed their physical tests, the miles and swims, stair test, all the fun stuff every alumni here has always done. And that kind of led into where we're at now. Had a few scrimmages already, and just working on the kinks. Like Coach said, got 20 days until we open up the Castleton. So we definitely have a lot of time, but no time to spare right now. And we're taking that focus towards every practice. Every pitcher, every hitter knows what they want to work on, and we're reflecting after each practice and seeing how we can get better. So we definitely think that we have a lot of talented teams and some definitely do some special things this year, but it's going to come down to kind of like we did last year, just grind, focus on every single game, every single pitch, and see what we can do. So again, thank you guys for all your support. It's great knowing we have a lot of people who care about how we do, and seriously, it helps us a ton just having some perspective, knowing that we got a lot of people to play for. So thank you guys a lot.
Just to finish up, so last year, Cody McCallum and Matt Moser spoke at this, and when they finished up their speech, Mose goes, "We're going to do everything we can to bring another NESCAC championship back to Tufts. We all kind of looked at Moser and said, what did you just do to us? Because if things don't go well this year, that might have just been the kiss of death. But obviously last year it worked out, so again, we're going to do everything we can to bring another NESCAC championship.
You didn't sound like that when we were in college. Oh yeah, no. We wouldn't get in now. I have news for you. So, Coach Casey tells me that Spiros you throw like 92 miles an hour. Is that right? What are they feeding you at Carmichael these days? Is it legal? Is there drug testing in the NESCAC? I'm teasing. The athletic director of Tufts is a gentleman I met last year for the first time, and I've heard nothing but great things. So, John Morris, please come on up.
Hello, everyone. I don't know if you noticed, that was a really nice case what you did for Bran. I don't know if people in the back noticed, it really looked like Bran was going to take a swipe at Casey with the bat. Who hasn't been there? I was actually going to start with a whole bunch of thank yous, but in the interest of time, I will spare you that. Everyone I was going to thank has already been thanked. I do want to just say on behalf of the department, thank you all for making time to come out on a Friday night to help us kickstart another successful Jumbos baseball season. And thank you, Tony, for being our MC tonight. There's three things I want to do. The first is a quick order of business. I need to make my annual contribution to the Friends of Tufts Baseball. So I'll take care of that now. Case, here's my little contribution. The reason I need to do that is Case charges me to speak. I assume all the others had to pay too. It's like a taxi. It was like $50 for the first minute, and then it went down from there. So I'm not going to have much time when you see how much the donation was. So that's the first order of business. My last order of business will be to show you some pictures on the screen and talk a little bit about the future of Tufts baseball beyond this season. So that's what I'll do last. What I'm going to do now, which I thought would be a lot of fun, would be, Case and I never really, we're going to take a quick look back, because Case and I never really got around to doing his performance review last year. So I thought, what better forum than this? And what prompted me to do that was that I looked back I hearkened back to last year's notes, and as the new AD, I thought about what I commented to all of you last year about some of the things that drew me to Tufts after a lot of years in Division I. And it was really that balance between academics, athletics, and active citizenship and community engagement that drew me. So with those being the criterion, let's do the performance review. Don't worry, he was NESCAC Coach of the Year, by the way, so you're off to a big start on that. So we'll start with academics. Let me just quickly tell you about the baseball team. Last year, their cumulative team GPA was a 3.30, which is awesome. They had six student athletes, academic all NESCAC, and they've continued it this fall. Their team GPA in the fall was 3.38. So prong number one, doing pretty well. Good job, Jumbos. Second criteria is character in the community. Last year I embarrassed Nick Katsumpas. Is Nick here? I thought he was going to be aware. There he is. I embarrassed him by talking about all the great things he did as a Jumbo. There's two people I want to talk about tonight in terms of character. We're lucky to have a lot of quality young men associated with this program. The first one is actually, you heard his name already tonight. He was actually cut during his sophomore year. And after that, what he did in the aftermath of that could really teach everyone in this room a lesson about how to handle adversity. Instead of walking away, his reaction was, how can I help? And over the years, he was an invaluable member of the team. He rolled up his sleeves every day to help as video coordinator, social media director, student assistant coach, and he was a really strong voice in the dugout. And part of the reason I tell you this is that every year the athletics department gives out the six most important awards we have. And one of them is the Murray Kenny Award. And it's given to a student athlete in our department who just demonstrates positive attitude, resilience, hard work, great work ethic. And it was just awesome that we could give that award to Joe Ferreira, who's here tonight. The second quick story I want to share is about another gentleman on last year's team as we look back and do this performance review. Is someone who was not only one of our leaders of our FIT pre-orientation program. Actually, I'll get back to that. It's someone who's not only a great athlete on the field, not only someone who had a 3.5 plus GPA, who was academic all NESCAC, and all NESCAC on the field, someone who's a great leader and a captain. You've already heard his name too. He did all those things, but he also demonstrated, as well as any athlete I've ever been around, his commitment to the community. Some of the activities he got involved with were the FIT pre-orientation program. He was a leader in that. He was involved with the Perseverance Foundation, Wounded Warriors, Hearty Meals for All, Relay for Life, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I could go on. And I want to talk about, just like I talked about the Murray Kenny Award that Joe received, every year the athletics department hands out another special, very special award in memory of a young man who's near and dear to the hearts of many people in this room. We hand out the Adrian Missick Prize in memory of Adrian. And that award is to go to someone who's demonstrated excellence academically, athletically, but then also demonstrates a personal commitment to improving the human condition. And so I think a perfect recipient of that award was Cody McCollum. He received that award last year. So as we do, Coach Casey's performance review, we've covered academics and we've covered character. If you have two gentlemen on the team who win the Murray Kenny Award and the Adrian Missick Award in the same year, I think we're okay on the character front. So let's talk about athletics. Because our mission statement talks about excellence on the field. That's just a gentle way of saying winning. Winning does matter. Results matter. And so how do we do? You've heard a lot of the highlights. I don't need to go into too many of them. Program record for wins, winning the NESCAC East. One of my favorite memories was the NESCAC championship in Nashua. I wasn't at the Amherst game, but I was tracking it online when I think it was Tommy O'Hara singled home Cody in the 7th to go up 5-4, and then our bullpen stood strong. We won that game 5-4, and then we crushed Wesleyan and then just destroyed Trinity. And just seeing those guys run on the field and hold up that trophy, that was one of my best memories during my first year as AD here. After that, watching the team do a deep run into the NCAA tournament, losing to the eventual runner-up, national runner-up, and just a great year, regional, making it to the regional finals, and they actually contributed a ton to our best ever fourth place finish in the Directors Cup. So baseball had a big part in that. We had 6 all NESCAC gentlemen on the team, 3 all-region players, and I should embarrass Spiros a little more here. Not only was he all NESCAC, he was NESCAC Pitcher of the Year, he was all New England, and he was all American with a 7-1 record and a 2.15 ERA. That's pretty good. The only thing I figured out that Spiros can't do is email. I can already hear the groan over there. Evidently, there was a party that was going to happen, and they were inviting some female undergrads. And let's just say that if a female undergrad happens to have the same name as the Director of Strategic Communications in the engineering school. You gotta be careful how you do party invitations by email. So we're gonna work on that skill before Spiros gets out of here. I wasn't sure whether to tell that story. Anyway, great year all around, Case. Just want to commend you on your Coach of the Year honors. Commend the team on a great year last year. Now let's look forward a little bit. You've already heard about what to expect for next year. I want to spend a little time thinking a little bit beyond next season and thinking about what we have to do to ensure that Tufts baseball is always dominating the NESCAC and always competing for a national championship. One of the things I think we need to do is we need to upgrade our facility. I want to turf that, I want lights, and I want upgraded bullpens and bleachers. Bleachers where there's actually a screen in front of you so you don't fear for your life watching a game. I won't even let my kids sit there. I just set up a massive lawsuit if anything happens. Is this being recorded? You need to edit that out, okay? Because we need to pretend we didn't know there was a chance that something bad could happen. So help me with that. So I want to show you a few slides. I don't know, am I able to move the slides along? All right, I can just tell you. That's actually the last one. Can we go all the way to the beginning? All right. I want to tell you that we, this fall, the athletics department completed a comprehensive athletics facility master plan to talk about everything we need to do from a capital standpoint. So we hired the firm of Elkis Manfredi, the architectural firm Elkis Manfredi. Many of you may know them. They did the work for the Boston Olympic bid. Hopefully our master plan turns out a little more positively than that whole thing. But so they put a great plan together. Where should I aim this? Oh, there. That's irrelevant. That's just. It was nice of them to include a slide of me in the master plan document. Yeah, Barney Hilton right there. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit. It's really hard to see, especially all of you over there. All the things in red, those are 4 big buildings we want to build. All very expensive. I'm going to walk over here. Over here is football. We want to we'll do some work on Baronian, and we want to turf and light that. This would be the pool over along the train tracks. Hockey rink right there, which I'm calling Hockey Rink Convocation Center because it needs to be a multi-purpose facility to make it attractive to families. And then behind the Tisch, we need to expand finish the work there and expand the fitness center, rec basketball gyms, new locker rooms. By the way, for all of you who went to Tufts in the 60s, 70s, 80s, the locker rooms haven't changed a bit. Squash courts, all that good stuff we need to do back there. But what I really want to talk about tonight is what we want to do with fields. And here's Huskins right there. In order to do, well, actually, I'll come back to that. Let me just show you some pictures. This gives you an idea. This is very conceptual, but there's the baseball field in the background with a pool on the right, ice rink on the left, and a plaza in between. I'm going to fly through these. This gives you an idea. This is just a concept of what we want to do with baseball. You'll see the hockey rink on the right, pool in the background, some new bleachers with the screen in front. Here's just another shot. This one's kind of funny. It looks like, hey, Case, who gave up the longest home run in the history of Tufts baseball? Mutes? All right. Mutes is raising his hand. I think this is a shot of that because no one has moved. The first baseman and the right fielder are just standing there. I think this bomb went right over the pool. So that's Mutes. That's yours. I'll send you a picture of that to commemorate that. Just a couple more, and I am nearing completion here. Here's another shot of how the facility could look. Again, this is just conceptual. But it gives you an idea of what we want to do. Here's the final shot. This one's kind of funny. Some of these pictures are kind of comical. You see the third baseman holding the runner on. I have no idea what's going on here. The one thing that is accurate, I have to give the person who did this picture some credit. The one thing that does seem accurate to me is Coach Casey has clearly already been ejected in this building. There are no coaches anywhere in sight. So they really nailed Tufts with this one. So, you know, the good news is, I'll wrap up in a couple minutes here. The good news is that the way this master plan works, I've been wanting to do baseball. We need to do baseball. But guess what? They can't fit the pool or the rink unless we move baseball like 50 yards. So that's awesome. There is some momentum behind both those other projects. There's some money we're optimistic about on the pool. So we'll see. Lots of work to be done there. So the good news is it has to move in order to carry out this plan. Bad news is we do not have a penny raised yet. But the cool thing is evidently that doesn't matter anymore. I mean, evidently as of November, I'm just going to say, we're just going to build this baseball stadium and we'll make Harvard pay for it. All right, sorry for the political joke there. It's actually not true to say that we don't have any money raised. I want to embarrass someone in the room. I haven't seen Matt. Is he here? Where is he? I want to thank Matt Lyman. He was great. He suffered through. He watched me stress and moan during the NESCAC championship games, and you were in Mansfield too, weren't you? So he was at both the NESCAC championship and the NCAA stuff, and we watched some of those games together. I really want to thank Matt for a very generous donation that's going to get this going. He's committed to make a very nice donation to. He's given us the money to really do the design and the study of the project to find out exactly how we want it to look and exactly how much it's going to cost. And we couldn't get started without that. So thank you, Matt. Pretty soon we're going to get out there and start raising money. So hold on your wallets. There's a committee of alums that we put together. Mark Zigian in the back will be part of that. I'll be part of that. And we're going to go out and try and get this done. So exciting times for the Jumbos ahead. Case, Jumbo student athletes, good luck this year. And alums, friends, parents, just on behalf of me and the whole department, I really want to thank you for all you do to support Tufts athletics and these amazing student athletes. Thank you.
I hate to keep picking on Spiros, but I love that email story. I've been there, buddy. You know what? If anyone in this room tells you they haven't, they're lying. We've all done it. Like, who did I just send that to? Well, I've absolutely been there. Just quickly, I know Coach Casey wanted to point out the members of this year's team. So what we're going to do, we're going to announce them by major. So when I announce your major, if the members of the team could stand up, and we'll get all of you recognized, and certainly we'll give you the best wishes here on a successful 2017 season, however long your coach manages to stay on the bench in any particular game. So this year's team majors, we have 4 mechanical engineers. Stay standing, fellas. Stay standing. 1 biology major. Sociology major. 2 international relations majors. 2 quantitative economics majors. And 9 economics majors. From all of us here, good luck this weekend. Just a couple of quick things. First, obviously, feel free to network, mingle, talk to one another. There's food coming. I know we've been chewing up a lot of your time. There is a silent auction here to generate money for Tufts baseball, and there is a producer for a day item on the Felger and Maz program, I'll have you know. Last year, John Collins bid on and won the item, and he's still raving about it.
Big carpet treatment.
So, in all seriousness, whoever wins that item will go out to lunch before I bring you in. You get sort of behind the scenes look at the show, and you can judge for yourself whether Felger is really. I don't want to use that kind of language, but whether Felger really is what he appears to be. But just share one more baseball story with you, and that concerns, again, it goes back to the time I spent covering the Red Sox in the 90s. And it was just triggered now as I thought about all these grade point averages that are being tossed around. In the baseball world, the Major League Baseball world, with the exception of guys like Jeff, the high grade point averages are a little out of the ordinary. So I don't know if you remember in the 90s, there was a guy who pitched for the Red Sox whose name was Vaughn Eshelman. He was a left-handed pitcher who, as a rookie, actually, I want to say in his big league debut as a starter, beat the Yankees here at Fenway Park and actually pitched pretty well, but he couldn't stay healthy. Needless to say, Vaughn Eshelman was not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So the Red Sox were getting ready for a season one year, and it turned out that his wife, as best we know, was lighting some candles to set the mood in the middle of the night for feeding their baby, or was heating a milk bottle or something, and a towel in the hotel room caught on fire. Eshelman, who's left-handed, then proceeded to put out the fire with his left hand. He suffered burns on his palm, was on the disabled list for a good chunk of the year, came back and pitched for the Red Sox in Chicago against the White Sox. That night he beat the team. Beat the White Sox. And we asked him afterward whether he brought his wife and a child on the trip. And he said, no, this is Chicago, and they had that big fire here 25 years ago. We said, well, actually, it was 125 years ago. And he said, whatever. So in any case, I'll leave you with that. Please enjoy the rest of the night. Again, feel free to mingle, whatnot, and I look forward to saying hello to those of you that I do know. Have a good night.